Hey guys, good afternoon and welcome to Beauty and Gratitude. And I want to thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of season 4. I have a special guest tonight. I'm talking to Oscar winner, producer of Summer of Soul, Musa Jackson. Musa, I've known for quite a long time. He comes from the fashion industry initially as a model, male model. Also, he's a writer, producer, director. He's done many productions with some great talents like Caroline Herrera, Betsy Johnson, also created art shows for Nona Hendryx and many others. He's just an all-around Renaissance man, and he's also known as the Harlem Ambassador. And we'll talk about that and talk about his magazine, Ambassador Magazine, which features a lot of local talent within Harlem, local meaning international, from music to fashion, you name it, personalities, chefs, etc. So Musa definitely is an asset to our culture, to American history. And I think it's very important that I showcase a lot of these men, particularly men of color, which I've been doing for the past 2 episodes and I plan to do for this whole season. So people can see the myriad of things that we do from, Rodney Fitzhughes, who's the owner of Parfums, as well as J. Rick Cameron, who's also an excellent writer for his book Ocean Dreams, and the many others I'll have on, from producers, directors, painters, you name it, entrepreneurs, business owners, and have some really great, more amazing upcoming guests within this season. So it is an opportunity to learn more about the diaspora of Africa and African American men and men of color, and also just to see the various industries that we're in and thriving in, which is very important for all of us to see. And I'm thankful to Celebrity Magazine for allowing me to be, part of their team as editor at large, and as well as my show Beauty and Gratitude, which you're watching here, and also just a contributor all around and bringing in amazing talent as well, like our fashion editor Elizabeth Meredith, who I hope to do some segments with as well. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back with Musa Jackson. Thank you guys so much.
You can find all the Satonic products at our Go shop on Solivity at go.solivity.com now. Shop for beauty products, skincare, hair care. It is all there at the Go shop. Go shop Solivity.
Life is full of moments. And when sickness breaks your momentum, from the 5 a.m. stomach bug, or stress and anxiety at work, don't forget you have Teladoc. Great care options by phone, video, or app. 24/7 access to doctors. And access to therapists 7 days a week. From anywhere you are. Day or night. Whatever it is, we're always ready to help. So you can get back to enjoying life's best moments faster. Life is good. Enjoy it well.
Visit a doctor today without even leaving your home. For as little as $19.95 per month for a family plan, you get access to board-certified physicians as often as you need it, and there's $0 for medical visits anytime, anywhere. Register now by visiting solivity.com/health perks. That's solivity.com/health perks. We work so hard sometimes. Isn't it time for a break? Take a walk or enjoy nature, or maybe a leap or a ride, or even a dip. Spending time with a friend, or some time alone. Whatever it is, always spend time growing and learning with a Solivity Weekend. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Solivity TV.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude. And as I said, I have an amazing guest and longtime Harlemite and friend, Musa Jackson. Welcome, Musa.
Thank you so much for having me, D'Angelo. It's great to see you.
Yes. You know, Musa, I've seen you for years, decades even, in passing often, and you always greeted me with a smile, always with in those intuitive Pisces eyes, you know. So and then ironically, I ended up on a job with a friend of yours, and your daughter ended up on a job many years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't even make the connection until later. I think I put a photo up or something on social media. You're like, D'Angelo, you're in my daughter's house. I was like, what?
Right.
So, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So just you know how small the world is and how interconnected we all are, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your first. Were you born and raised in Harlem?
I'm a born and raised in Harlem.
Okay.
And my Harlem roots go back over 100 years.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
on my mother's side, her uncle, her father's brother and sister landed in Harlem in 1918 or 1919, right? So it was literally over 100 years ago. And it was at the dawn, right before the Harlem Renaissance.
Right.
And as domestics, so, you know, we're not talking, you know, didn't come in as, you know, they weren't poets and, you know, that glorious age, but they were there. They were around. That's the neighborhood's a very small community. So they, you bumped into the Bessie Smiths and you bumped in, who was prevalent at that time, you bump into, as you do today. And my father came right after my father was in was a merchant marine in the World War II.
Oh wow.
And he came to Harlem in 46 or 47, maybe 47, and he met Malcolm Little, and who would become the great Malcolm X. And amazing. So he knew him prior. And then my father, who was just like I said, once again, my father was worked with janitors and sanitation, so hardworking family man. And my mother would arrive right after high school, so she arrived in the early 50s. They're 13 years apart. So he, and always older man, younger woman. It's always a story. Anyway, and they met. I think it's about 1920. And started a family, but she was her first job was Adam Clayton Powell.
Wow.
The Adam Clayton Powell gave her first job. So I've always been sort of connected to Harlem icons and lore.
Yes.
In a very humane, normal way. Like not like, you know, Malcolm X and Adam Clayton Powell and you know, I connected them like at the grocery store, you know. We knew them as human beings, so or connected to them that way, and I think that has sort of shaped beyond colored my life and set the pathway for which we will get into. You know?
And what's interesting is that you were walking amongst giants including in your home, your family as well. I don't believe in levels, so I think people are here and they bring amazing gifts at every level. And you were walking amongst icons and legends, and not knowing then what you know now, that there's so much history within your own family and in Harlem. Internationally, Harlem is international. We import culture all over the world. And I keep telling people that I'm like, every young man and child in Harlem should really travel, because they would see how much influence they have globally.
True. So true. I mean, I remember going to the very first when they were in a church basement boys choir of Harlem.
Yes.
The very first. Now it's a legacy, right? But I remember that was the thing. It's like these kids are singing in Harlem. So, I remember being 7 years old and being chastised by James Baldwin, Uncle Jimmy, which, is another icon. And I didn't know James Baldwin was famous until I got to college and was like, what is Uncle Jimmy being? What is this book? And it's like, that's Uncle Jimmy on the back of the cover. And they're like, Musa, that's James Baldwin. Jimmy, James. Oh my God. I called him the frog. I used to call him the frog man.
Right, because of his eyes, yes.
Because he looked like, for me, I related everything to like an animal. And, some people, if they look like a horse, I would call him the horseman. But I called him the frog man because he had this great smile, a gap in the tooth. He had huge eyes and a round face. And it just kind of popped out of my head. And I would call him the frog man. But I went to private school at a very early age. I never went to public school. And these are the days when, the private school sector, was being integrated. So in 1965, the year of my birth, was when they integrated public schools. And by 4 years later, they started integrating private schools.
Right.
And so I was one of the first children ever given a full ride to a private school in the city of New York. So I was indoctrinated, this kid from the projects of Harlem. My parents had divorced by then. So it's a single mom, I have a phenomenal mother, college educated, a book read woman and culture driven. And so she made sure that her children had the best education coming out of the projects. And I went to some phenomenal private schools when it was unheard of. So I was always kind of like the token. Didn't see myself that way, but it was just the world I lived in was always but it was always Black. And what do I mean by that? I might have been on Park Avenue, Fifth Avenue, the wealthiest people in New York, very comfortably. I'm very comfortable in the most wealthiest settings in the world because I grew up that way. But I'm also very comfortable being at the cookout, honey.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the beauty.
I'm very comfortable, baby.
Who you are.
I've had chitlins, okay? I've seen them. I ran out the house when they, mom's doing chitlins, okay? The smell.
I've cleaned them, my friend. I've cleaned them, so yes.
You understand. So I've had these. I grew up with a the duality of it all, and I grew up in a world where at that time, icons of a certain era were being. They were young. They weren't icons. They were just beginning.
They were
and
fighters.
I was there, and I rode this wave. 17 years old, my first girlfriend. 18 years old is Jenny Lumet. That's Lena Horne's granddaughter.
Right.
So I had Lena Horne and Sidney Lumet, the great director, Sidney Lumet, the Serpico, The Verdict, 12 Angry Men, The Wiz. That's my world. And then going to the projects. So I grew up very entrenched.
That's the beauty of New York, my friend. That's the beauty of New York.
That was the beauty of New York. That only in New York. It's an only New York story.
Because I used to live in a small apartment in Harlem, and I would go to some of the best events in the city. And one day I remember going home going, this juxtaposition is weird. Like literally, I just met the king or queen of some place, and now I'm here. So you
Right,
just
on
see
the bodega. Right.
right to get
And
a fried egg sandwich. Yes.
but D'Angelo, when you're but the irony of that for me
Hmm.
is they were always simultaneous.
Yes,
So
they
that's
are.
all. So I know them both, and
Yes.
I know them both so well.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, like so well.
Yes.
That's the reality, is the integration of those
Right.
two worlds
Hmm.
as my DNA. And
Right.
so it never tripped me out. It was
It
kind of
should.
like, no, it was just kind of like, going here, going there, flying in a private jet to Aspen, and then taking a train,
Hmm.
right, an hour and a half up to the Bronx, Parkchester, to visit the cousin in the backyard, and the uncle is is drunk, and they're like, you know, and baby kids is running around. So it
Right.
was,
Yeah.
that that was,
That's the
and
beauty
I
of New
loved it.
York.
And I loved
Yeah.
it. I love
Yeah.
them both. I still do.
Hmm. Hmm. I still tell anyone, like, if you have lived in inner cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles as well, you can vibe in any setting because
Absolutely.
one day you're sitting next to a billionaire, not even a millionaire, a billionaire. And then the
Hmm.
next minute you're in the hood, if per
Hmm.
se,
Hmm.
but it all crosses each other. Or you're at the same party. I have people
Hmm.
at parties that are multimillionaires in a small apartment. So
Hmm.
you just don't know who you'll interact with.
Welcome to your new you with Aspire by Solivity. Virtual inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. With the help of at-home experts and celebrity guests, Aspire by Solivity provides tools to tap into the passion and purpose that lives within you. Find classes to educate and motivate you. From nutrition to your body and a whole lot more. So, take the leap. Start your new journey with Aspire by Solivity today. Sign up now.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Solivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Solivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Solivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us.
And I know you became a model. How old were you when you started modeling?
So I graduated from the Fame School when Fame was the movie. So when I arrived at the Fame School, which is what the movie is based off of, which is the High School of the Arts, it was music and art.
Yes.
I arrived. The movie came out the following year.
Wow.
Just to give you context. And by 1983, when I graduated, I went to Parsons School of Design for fashion design. So my trajectory really, because I was an artist, my trajectory was really to be a fashion designer.
Yes.
But I was skinny, had a cute, this smile. We was always talking about my smile and eyes, and I was 170 wet. So everything that was put on me, I'm 6'1.5". So everything put on me was a hanger. They called me a hanger. And I had a carriage. Use that word a lot, a carriage and a presence of elegance, which was little juxtaposition for the young men of my era. I was something like out of another world, like a Langston Hughes, but in the 1980s. Yes, and so, because that was kind of what I came through. That was my filter. But that seemed to connect with the art world, the fashion world that was just really burgeoning. So I was downtown and I walked into a store called Parachute in Soho.
I remember it.
And I became their first Black model.
Wow.
Literally the day I walked in, they were shooting the ad. And I went to just fill out an application because you had to work in college. You had to have a job. So I'm going to be in fashion. We'll go to the hottest store. And it was Parachute. And I walk in, luckily, and Bob, I don't know Bob's last name, but Bob was there. He comes running in. He's like, "Oh, okay, great. You're here now. We finally got our last model." And they're like, the owner was standing there and he's like, "Who are you?" And I'm just here to fill out an application. And he said, "Well, you got the job as a salesperson, but you're also going to do our magazine." And literally I became a downtown darling overnight. I was in GQ, I was in Vogue, I was in Interview, I was in Per Louis, I was in Italian Vogue for the ads.
Yes.
And so, that was cachet for an 18-year-old. And at the time, there were unknowns working with me who were also unknowns. And one was named Ruben Toledo.
Yes.
Wilfredo Rosado. Elizabeth Saltzman.
Wow.
We were all 18.
Wow.
We hadn't started our careers. And and then someone, I befriended an artist by the name of Keith Haring.
Yes.
And Keith Haring's bestie was a guy by the name of Basquiat. And his old patron saint was Andy Warhol.
Right.
And I was the only Black male from Harlem that was part of the iconic 80s scene of nightlife. I went to the opening of Area.
Okay. Yes.
And at the opening of Area, I met the editor of GQ magazine who took a look. I was amongst all the celebrities, and he said, "You have the face of the 80s."
Wow.
And I was discovered by Camille Duhay, who's the beauty editor of GQ. And I did GQ magazine.
So this was the mid 80s to late 80s?
This was 83.
Wow.
So I would become a pioneering model, but the irony was there weren't many of us. And I was very young. And so at that time, I opened the doors for what is now the boy man, Alton Masons and Tysons, which weren't, Renard White was around, but he had a mustache. He looked like a man. And then there was me. I was the young man.
I remember. Yes.
Right. So they didn't have a category. But I was booking everything, booked Vogue and booked Mademoiselle and booked work with all the great photographers and Patrick Demarchelier and oh my God, Toscani and just all of them. It was dizzying. And I had a stellar career. I did it for 10 years and it was, at the time, you don't think you're making history. I was the first Black male to ever do the Gap. And it was international. It was every bus stop, every magazine. It was on highways. It was on Times Square. It was just on bus stops. And I remember being very shy and I'd be at the bus because I was still a regular guy.
Right,
So
right,
I'm at the
right.
bus stop taking the bus, and there I am, and it's like 8 feet, and I'm 6 feet, and they're like, "You look like the guy he had," and I'm like, kind of like, "Oh yeah, he does kind of look like me." Oh my god,
Right.
but not telling it was me, and
Right.
that went on. But and I think a lot of us of that era, I started with a young model by the name of Karen Alexander, and
Yes.
Veronica Webb, and Louise Viant, and Gail and Naomi came later.
So this is when I came to New York, was like 89. And
Right.
I was going to Pratt in Brooklyn, and I needed an internship, and I ended up at Beth Ann's agency. And who would walk into Beth Ann? Veronica. I was there before Tyson was even like signed. We were at a
Tyson
party.
came in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember looking at Tyson. This was probably 91, probably
About 92, 93, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at him, and I was just like, oh, this guy's going to be major. I just knew it. And I've always had that eye, thankfully. And, eventually I ended up in beauty and fashion. And so all those people crossed my path, and love Karen Alexander. God bless her. I love her.
My heart. Kirsty Bowser, and me, Karen, Kirsty. I started with those girls, and I was always kind of like the boy. So it was like girl and boy. So it was like Kirsty and me for Vogue, Karen, me for Veronica and I was in Europe together. We did I think Gervaux, me and Louise Viant do a Gervaux campaign in Italy, and we walked Gaultier.
Oh, Gervaux, yeah.
I did the Gervaux campaign with Carlos Taylor.
I love. Quick question for you. You said you and Karen did what covers together?
We didn't do any covers. We did we did catalogs. We did
money job.
We did money jobs. We did I had Macy's contracts with Macy's, JCPenney's for 10 years.
Wow.
So I was what I helped bring in the bacon. I was in the first all male modeling agency in history, which was called Men.
Right. Yes.
With Nadia Chakri. I got to give her a shout out. Nadia. She started the first one. It was all male top models, and it was me. It was like two or three blacks, me and Derek, and we started in her house. And it was Bruce Hulse and the rest of those guys. We were all together. It was all top models, and I was killing it. And she said, so Pauline Bernache. I started Pauline Bernache, who was Pauline's.
Right.
So just that you understand context, I was the first and only male at an all-women's agency.
Oh, wow.
I made history.
Yes.
I was first only male, only black. And you saw always
so much access. So much
there
access.
There was me. And she just fell in love with me. And she said, I'm not going to have any men. I don't want any men, but I will take you.
Oh, wow.
And so she discovered Grace Jones and Inez de Fassange. Which is what she told me. And she said, and I'm discovering you. Wow. And I came to her by way of Bruno Desange, the late great Bruno Desange.
Yes.
Was the one that sent me over. And she sent me out to 17 magazine. I booked it. And Mademoiselle, I booked it. And I just kept booking, and commercial galore. They were like, oh my God, you're so commercial. It's like, it's a wrap. And just smile. Right. And I would just smile, and I would book a job. So it just kept booking. And I was like, oh, and I kind of was like, gosh, that's all it takes. This is in my brain. Right. You make all this money. I've always felt guilty because I kind of handed my voucher, and it'd be like $3,000. And I would do it so fast. It was like, oh my God, he's done. And they booked for a whole day. And I'm like out of there in like literally an hour and a half. And I kind of say, well, can I stay for lunch? Because I did. And they were like, you're done. And he's like, they would take like 5 frames. They go, these are perfect or whatever. They didn't look at the camera, but they were like, because at those days it was film. But the point is that I worked
Polaroid.
Yes. They took the Polaroid. I worked a lot. And it was a wonderful era. Wonderful era. Yes.
Solivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Welcome to your new you with Aspire by Solivity. Virtual inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. With the help of at-home experts and celebrity guests, Aspire by Solivity provides tools to tap into the passion and purpose that lives within you. Find classes to educate and motivate you. From nutrition to your body and a whole lot more. So, take the leap. Start your new journey with Aspire by Solivity today. Sign up now.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Solivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So, tune in every Wednesday right here on Solivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
You know,
I always tell people to watch the Warhol documentary that's on now, and some other, because you see faces that I'm like, there's Jay, there's Miss J, there's that person. Now you understand the context of why they are where they are right now.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
So
and
I want to
Andre and those guys. Yep. Andre Walker.
Yeah, exactly.
we went clubbing together.
Yes.
And Roxy, him and Robin and them. I would be over my crew, and they would be they were the eccentric crew, and then there was the Parachute Boys and Girls, and it would be us, and it's like 1983, and we're all like beatboxing, and then African Bambaataa is up on the was a host, and I said all these supermodels, you know, in the supermodels it was Renald and Beverly, those were the supermodels, okay, and Alva, so they would be walking by us, and you know, and that was the world. And I was dating Jenny Lumet, who was the it girl before there was the original it girl with her sister Jenny Lumet, and they were in Harper's Bazaar, and they would be the predecessors to what we see with the Kardashians and all these kind of girls. But they actually had real credibility, and because they came from real lineage. I'm talking about Lena Horne and Sidney Lumet are both icons of the Jewish community and the Black community. So they really came up in that way, and that was my girlfriend at the time, and so I kind of had that kind of lens to see life through that.
And a powerful matriarch, Lena Horne, you know, having
the great Lena Horne.
Yes, God bless her. You
God
know, I have
bless
another.
Lena.
Yes, so many questions for you. So you end up producing shows for like DBF, Carolina Herrera, and Betsy Johnson. How did that come about?
So that came about through my good friend, the great iconic stylist, Freddie Lieba.
Okay.
And Freddie Lieba, and I just was doing, what time was it doing? By the time I got there, I had already started screenwriting.
Okay.
And so I left LA, I had done a script, and I kind of needed to come back to New York. I came back to New York, I believe this is all coinciding. Yes, it is coinciding. And yes, I already done that, came back and needed a job. And I wasn't, modeling, you're in that middle ground, you did the modeling. Modeling world is, they forget you. Even though I don't even want to go back into that world, to be honest with you. I was always a thinker. I was always someone whom, I grew up in the academia world, smart people, and modeling for me was great. But, the contribution I wanted to make to the world would come from my talent,
Right.
And so anyway, Deborah Hughes was producing, all these amazing shows. And she had a small office, and there was about 5 producers, there's 5 of us. And I worked for her and did like 4 seasons, and her clients was Diane Von Furstenberg, Caroline Herrera, Betsy Johnson, Iman for Sephora, Douglas Hanant, Gene Myers. I think I handled the Gene Myers show. I think we all give it, but I would do front and the back of the house. So which is really kind of unheard of. And part of the reason why they were like, God, because I knew everybody that was walking in, but I also knew how to, I also was one of the models that used to be in the back. So I knew how to kind of gauge both. And normally it's front of the house and back of the house. Right. I was going back and forth, and I just seamlessly would do stuff like that. And so it worked out, it was a stressful job. Oh yeah. Very stressful. But it's a part of my resume. It's a part of my, my life. And I can say I did DVF.
And it's ideal for producing, because now, fast forward now, you worked on Summer of Soul as a producer and talent.
No, I wasn't a producer.
You weren't a producer. Okay.
No, clear that up. I was a featured talent and who became the star in the heart of the film. Okay. After the editing was done. Okay. But I was not a producer to what most people think, because I am a producer. I think what happened with them, and I think with God, my life in culture began when I was 4 years old. Right. And it began when my mother's boyfriend, Joe Hazel, took me and my siblings to this great concert called the Harlem Cultural Festival. Okay. And it was in 1969 in the hot summer. I was a very precocious child, and I was one of those children that if you see them, they're like they look and they don't move, and they kind of absorb everything. Yes. And so I was kind of like the perfect recorder.
Yeah, sponge, yeah.
It's how God worked it out. So even though it was lost for the ages, it was always in my head. And it was the thing that made me go into production later on in Harlem. I would always reference it. This was years before the thought of Summer Soul came about. It was why I do the things in Harlem for free, was because I said, I went to this concert when I was little. I'm going to give that back to the children of Harlem and the people of Harlem. And lo and behold, as God would have it, I became the Harlem Ambassador. And so known as the person that they call. And one of the producers did call me and say, hey, by the way, but Questlove's doing a film. And he just wants to know if you can help us find attendees. Right. And I knew it was the moment of truth, D'Angelo. Yeah. Yes. It was one of those moments. And I said to her, well, you're looking at one. And she freaked out. And she said, well, that's impossible, because it was in 1969. And how old are you? And I said, now I'm 57, but I was 4 years old. She said, first off, you don't even look like you were born at that time. And like you were born like 72 or 3 or whatever. Certainly not 69. And so you couldn't know anything from mom's womb. And I told I was 4 years old. And then that was like, then you had to get over that hurdle. What does a 4-year-old know? Right. And so I was the very first interview. And I remember things that were in the film that they had the footage of, and things that were not. They had pictures.
Right.
That are in the film. They were pictures, so they're not in the actual footage. They're pictures that were taken by photographers, and they held them, and they bought these pictures, and they said, well, we have this footage, but we have these pictures, and we can't use the pictures, and we spent like whatever it is, $50,000 for these images, and here I am describing the images as well. So they're able to loop not only the film, but the images.
Right.
And and they're grown adults. I think I don't know, a couple of thousand people they interviewed. They narrowed it down to 12, narrowed it down to 5 of us on screen, and I would become a star based off of that. And Joshua Pearson, who's the editor, was like, it was me or Stevie Wonder.
Right.
And he said Stevie Wonder didn't hold the chance against you.
Oh.
And I said, don't ever tell that to Stevie Wonder.
Don't ever. No. Byron? No, I'm kidding.
I will. You want to talk about synchronicity?
Yeah.
When I was at Parachute, I had many famous clients as a salesperson. Right?
I can imagine.
At Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Bill Cosby, Nona Hendryx, Sylvester, Madonna. They were all my clients. And so, and Steve Lynn Morris.
Oh, wow.
And Steve Lynn Morris called, and I didn't know it was Stevie Wonder, but it was Steve Lynn Morris.
Right.
He was coming in, and he loved my voice and loved me over the phone because, you know, he comes in to Parachute, and all the salespeople, Stevie Wonder. So I'm the junior salesperson. So all the people are like trying to get his business, and he's saying, no, not you, not you, not you. Who's the person I spoke to on the phone? And little old me parted. I'm a little 18-year-old boy, parted, and I said, hi, Stevie. And you know what Stevie Wonder said to me, and it's ironic that we're in a movie together. He said to me, he said, I can feel your heart and your presence over the phone. You're going to be something one day. I can feel it. And he said it in front of everybody. And I was like, thank you, but I got to work with these people. You know, and they're not going to like me after that. So that's what my brain was there.
Like, and it could be vicious.
You know, because it could be vicious. They all wanted a commission. It was all commission.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like vultures. So that's my connection to Stevie Wonder my first time. And then obviously now the film. So
that's beautiful. And I noticed you had on your bio Harlem Festival of Culture, which is very similar. Are you guys relaunching?
So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Harlem Festival of Culture is the reimagining
of
the Harlem Cultural Festival. And the reason, and it's done by, I am one of the co-founders along with Nicoa Evans, who does a lot of amazing things in the Harlem community. She is executive director of Harlem Park to Park, and runs 300 businesses. She has her own business, which is Sexy Taco. That's her establishment, along with Brian Palmer. And then there's Yvonne McNair, who is producer for the Grammys, Essence Music Festival, Ebony Power 100, to name a few. So the three of us have come together to do something spectacular. And the difference between our festivals, we're going to fulfill some of the issues that were brought up in the film. So, you know, business ownership, drug, mental illness, just the things that were mentioned in the film. So we'll have different dinners. We have a foundation, which is a nonprofit arm, which is the foundation will help mentor youth and give them tracks with some of these industry professionals that we all know. So they'll get world-class attention. And that will be spearheaded by Yvette Russell, who works with the youth. She's actually worked with, even on Gucci campaigns with youth. So we have, it's everybody's top tier. And
they are.
And we're launching this summer with a huge concert. There'll be a concert, a smaller concert just to kind of kick it off in a way in the summer. But the big kahuna, the weekend or whatever, will be in 2023. Because, we're still kind of like, massive people. We're still, even though there's been Coachellas and all that kind of stuff. And, we're still kind of realize we're coming out of, COVID, right? The pandemic. So we're just still being a little gingerly.
Yes.
With the size. I mean,
Right.
it'd be sized, but by then it'll be, not, it will be able to really be out. And
Right.
in terms of a concert with thousands upon thousands of people, the way it was. But once
Keep me
again, it'll
posted.
be good for the
Yeah.
community, impact the
Keep me
community.
posted, man. And
I
just
will.
let me know how I can be of assistance, because
Absolutely.
I'm between LA and New York, as you know, but Harlem will always be home. I lived there
Mhm.
for a very long time. And I'm so glad you guys are doing this, because
Perfect. So listen, I want to say this right here. We're going to be we're doing cultural dinners,
yes,
meaning
yes,
that there'll be smaller, intimate events with influencers, people from different
yes.
industries. And we'll be doing it between New York, LA, Dallas is on board. Our sponsor
Perfect.
person is on Dallas and DC. So all of the kind of Miami, we have these on I think even Seattle. We have these.
Okay.
So, and of course New York. And so within those spaces, we'll be looking for people to just, I'll be having really great guest lists.
Right,
And-
of course.
And
Sorry.
so
That's amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. And how can we reach you on social media? What's your website? All that good stuff.
So I will say this: I am the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Ambassador Digital
Ambassador,
Magazine.
yes.
Okay, so please, it's called Ambassador Digital Magazine. So I'll give you the website, which is ambassadordigitalmag.com, right?
Perfect.
On Facebook, Ambassador Digital Magazine, right?
Mhm.
On Instagram, it's ambassador_mag. And then you can find me also on Instagram at IAM Musa Jackson. So I am Musa Jackson on IG. And I love that magazine. It's done very well. We birthed it in the pandemic.
Yes.
And it's just a magazine that highlights and gives flowers to amazing people, regardless of age, sexual orientation, color. I am a part of LGBTQ community.
Yes.
And so, it's very important to me that that I'm the part of the Black community. I see it as all one family. I've never went into letters, but I get it.
Our boxes.
Our boxes. Yeah. So I wanted, this magazine brings everyone together in love.
And it does. And Musa, it's beautiful, first and
Thank
foremost.
you.
And I love what you've done. And you can see that you have production, the fashion, the beauty, all the elements that's needed to make a great magazine and a great media outlet. All the links are here, everyone. So just click on the links here. And thank you, Musa, for being here.
And thank you so much, D'Angelo. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm honored to be on your show and be a part of this, okay? And continue the wonderful, wonderful success that you have. And we have a brunch coming up, I hope.
Yes, we do. I'm going to hold you to that, okay?
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soul Liberty TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco. Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices, and together we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
We work so hard sometimes. Isn't it time for a break? Take a walk. Or enjoy nature. Or maybe a leap. Or a ride. Or even a dip. Spending time with a friend. Or some time alone. Whatever it is, always spend time growing and learning with a Soulivity weekend. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Soulivity TV.
Life is full of moments. And when sickness breaks your momentum, from the 5 a.m. stomach bug, or stress and anxiety at work, don't forget you have Teladoc. Great care options by phone, video, or app. 24/7 access to doctors. And access to therapists 7 days a week. From anywhere you are. Day or night. Whatever it is, we're always ready to help. So you can get back to enjoying life's best moments faster. Life is good. Enjoy it well.
Visit a doctor today without even leaving your home. For as little as $19.95 per month for a family plan, you get access to board-certified physicians as often as you need it. And there's $0 for medical visits anytime, anywhere. Register now by visiting soulivity.com/health perks. That's soulivity.com/health perks.
Welcome to your new you with Aspire by Soulivity. Virtual inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. With the help of at-home experts and celebrity guests, Aspire by Soulivity provides tools to tap into the passion and purpose that lives within you. Find classes to educate and motivate you. From nutrition to your body and a whole lot more. So, take the leap. Start your new journey with Aspire by Soulivity today. Sign up now.
Hey guys, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and a special thank you to Musa Jackson. Just wanted to make a correction from the intro. He was talent on Summer of Soul, not a producer. So I want to clarify that. And please check out his links on ambassadormag.com, Ambassador Magazine. And you also can find that on Instagram. And I am Musa Jackson on Instagram as well. So thank you again for being a part of tonight's show, Musa. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. More amazing content in the weeks to come. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Beauty and Gratitude with D'Angelo Thompson. That's me. We're going to focus on beauty from the inside out and gratitude being the cornerstone of your life. I will have amazing guests from all walks of life, from wellness experts to beauty, tech, fashion, you name it, they will be here. And we have amazing names coming up in the near future. So tune in every 2 weeks, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Celebrity TV or Celebrity Magazine. Thank each of you for watching, and focus on life, focus on gratitude. Thank you.
Welcome to your new you with Aspire by Solivity. Virtual inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. With the help of at-home experts and celebrity guests, Aspire by Solivity provides tools to tap into the passion and purpose that lives within you. Find classes to educate and motivate you. From nutrition to your body and a whole lot more. So, take the leap. Start your new journey with Aspire by Solivity today. Sign up now.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Solivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Solivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Solivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us.